On this episode of Wine, Hops, and Road Stops, another professional sports team gets into the beer game. We define beer styles. What makes what a what? We sample new and slightly unusual beers, including one non-beer that is rapidly gaining popularity. We recap the 2019 Hazleton Rotary Wine and Beer Festival and talk to some wineries. We meet up with Kevin from Krugel's Georgetown Deli and Beer, talk Craft Beer 101, and give us a brief history lesson on the Farmhouse ale style. So grab yourself a beer or wine, sit back, and get ready for wine, hops, and road stops coming up after these messages from our sponsors. So here we are back at the beer stop with my good friend and co-host Alan. Alan, what do we have in front of us today?
Basically, I've been behind on my drinking. I've been neglecting myself.
I haven't.
So basically, I just brought in 6 beers that I haven't tried before.
And these are pretty new
These
releases.
are all new within the last week or so to the area.
And they run the gamut from being an IPA to a French toast stout to
to the new hard latte. I haven't tried them yet, but they're actually making frappuccinos with alcohol.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I like that idea.
Oh, it is. It is. And what's really neat is they actually have a little bit of chocolate on the bottom, so you actually have to swirl it up a little. So when you pour it in, it looks like they made more latte than they did try to make a beer taste like a latte. So it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm really interested in trying some of these because a little different. I like the gamut here. Like I said, we got an IPA all the way up to something that isn't even a beer, just a hard latte.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of different styles. And you know what I'd like to talk about a little bit is what exactly defines a style of beer. Like nailing down a style of beer or nailing down the amount of style of beers that there are is impossible.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's more and more every day. They come up with new things and new styles. And I always have a pet peeve with not respecting the style. When I drink a beer, I rate it a lot of times based on if it's a brown, I want it a brown. I don't want it to be an IPA brown unless you say it's an IPA brown.
Right.
You know,
so you don't want like a stout that tastes like a brown ale or vice versa.
Right.
If it says brown ale, it should have certain characteristics.
Yes. And the American microbreweries are particularly infamous for calling anything a pale ale, but really it's an IPA. You know, but I mean, that's more a matter of preference in this country for IPAs than anything else.
And we've seen that over and over again on this show where you say like, well, this is labeled a pale ale, but man, you know, there's a lot to it. It tastes more like an IPA.
Yes, yeah, and because you should know what you're drinking before you buy it. And when you want a pale ale, I don't want an IPA. If I wanted an IPA, I would have chose an IPA for that night to drink. So I'm always, big on respect the style and then just do that style well, rather than changing the style and then saying, well, it's a good pale ale because look how hoppy it is. Well, no, it's an IPA now.
Well, my question is, what exactly defines a style? And there's a bunch of different things to define a style. Sometimes it's just where it was brewed at.
Yes.
Sometimes it's what's in it. So we're going to take a look at different things that could define the style of beer that you're drinking. Number one, of course, is defining a style by region. For example, Kolsch is a style that grew out of the brewing tradition of Cologne, Germany. Likewise, the Scotch ales obviously came from Scotch breweries.
And then the other famous one of that are the Trappist ales. To the point in Belgium, they've actually gone to court, and you are not allowed to claim yourself a Trappist ales unless you are one of the 7 true Trappist monasteries making the beers.
Now that beer has to be made by a Trappist monk.
Correct, yes, or at least under the supervision of a Trappist monk.
Okay.
There has to be a monk somewhere.
Somewhere
but even ones that like St. Bernardus, I always thought that was a Trappist ale. It is not a true Trappist ale, even though it has a picture of the monk. So they're still allowed to put a picture of a monk on, but they just can't use the word Trappist.
Next way to define a style is by ingredients. Beer styles are also often named for the ingredients in the beer. A cherry wheat beer, of course, is made with cherries and wheat. A Rauch beer or smoked beer is named because the barley is smoked when they're making the beer. Next one would be defining a style by appearance. A stout is a perfect example. It's a rich beer with big flavors. It's a stout. It's big. Mm-hmm. Wit beer. Wit is the Belgian word for white, and it alludes to the cloudy white appearance that the beer has.
Because most wheats are whites as well.
Right.
So kind of that wheat-white thing, I think, kind of goes back and forth across the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. A black lager would be just that. Mm-hmm. A lager that's black. Yeah. And finally, you can define a style by method. Ales are brewed differently than lagers. Ales can be broken down into India Pale Ale, Brown Ale, Pale Ale, and so on. And lagers refer to the practice of storing the brewed beer in cold storage, and that can be broken down into Bocks, Dunkels, Oktoberfest, all that good stuff. Ales, lagers, it's just defining the style by method.
And particularly when you just start drinking microbrews and new into the beer world, you really want to keep with the beers that are keeping to certain styles that you enjoy. So, I mean, if you are like, all right, I'm just getting into it, I like the wheats, I like the whites, you don't want to start all of a sudden, buying the IPAs, and then it's just, but little by little, if you just keep drinking the whites and the better beers, you'll get used to a fuller beer, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, pale ales, these are pretty good. And then all of a sudden you move into pale ales, and so on and so forth, and then eventually, you can't drink anything other than microbrews.
Experimentation is great. I like it. Why not, right?
Yep.
Okay, we have one brief news bit before we go to break. Got to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles team up with Goose Island for a beer called Fly PA. This Eagles-themed beer called Fly PA is described as an IPA with, of course, a hazy twist, because that's all the rage, hazy IPAs.
Yep.
You can give it a taste all season long in Lincoln Financial Field and the Goose Island Brew House in Fishtown if you're down that way near Philadelphia. So far, reports are coming in. It's a pretty good hazy IPA. What do you expect from Goose Island?
Yeah. Well, and let's be honest. I mean, your sporting arenas, your main events, they drink so much beer there that they very easily can get their own brewery to make whatever they want for whenever they want, and probably in one day drink the entire lot of it. So I think you're going to see a lot more of sporting events. Particularly also any type of fairs and different things like that. They're going to start having their own individual beers brewed just for them.
I'm fine with it. Yeah, more the merrier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes it something nice. Now you can only get it there. So
if you do try it, let us know what you think of it. Facebook.com/Wine Hops and Road Stops is our Facebook page. Send us a message there. Post there. Let us know if you tried the new Fly PA. See how it is, right?
It's the only reason to go to an Eagles game.
So when we come back, we're going to try some beers that are all laid out here. Like I said, we're running the gamut from an IPA all the way up to a hard latte. Don't go away. There's more Wine Hops and Road Stops when we come back after these messages. Welcome back to Wine Hops and Road Stops. We still have beers to try, but before we do that, got to talk about an awesome festival that we had here in the Hazleton area a couple weeks ago. It was the Hazleton Rotary Beer and Wine Festival that we went to. You were part of it. You were a huge part of it.
Yep, we pretty much bring all the beers.
And you did. Your stand had a ton of beers all day. You go and get a different beer. Let's talk a little bit about that for someone who doesn't really know what this festival is. It's been going on for a long time now.
This is like year 7 or 8,
something like that. Yeah.
Well, you've been playing it every year. So
yeah, I have actually been doing double duty, performing with my band Ostrich Hat, and then running around with a camera and interviewing people. And I had a great day though. It was a beautiful day.
It was actually hot, which we never get hot weather in Pennsylvania. So
right at the end of August every year at the Hazleton Babe Ruth Field. Let's talk about why we do this. There's a reason we don't just. It's not just to go and drink beer and wine.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the reason you show up. But bottom line is that it's all for charity, which is nice.
Drinking for charity is good.
None of the beer vendors make any money on it, and all the money goes for the Rotary Foundation for their college scholarship funds. And every year they give money to kids to help them pay for college, which is getting more and more expensive every year.
Yes, it is. The Wine and Beer Festival has been getting bigger and bigger every year. We had more wineries there. We had more beer. We had a car show. We had a lot of food vendors this year, a lot of craft vendors. I mean, it was a great time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps getting better and better every year because the more people that come, everybody's having a great time, and then eventually they tell 2 friends and so on and so on. So for the first couple of years, I mean, the first year I think we had 150 people that actually came, which is extremely small. And just year after year, we're over 1,000 people. It just keeps getting better and better every year. And the nice thing is it's a great way to try a whole bunch of wines, a whole bunch of beers. You buy your one ticket, you come in, everything else is free that you drink. And myself, for the beer stop, we bring a table up. I bring about 150 different 6-packs of beer So that way, no matter what time of the day, if you stop by our table, you're always trying something new.
There was also local craft breweries there, and a bunch of wineries were there too this year, which was really nice to see. More wineries coming and getting involved with this too.
Well, he offers everything from dry to sweets. He has the Montepulciano. In the dry, he has Deadhead Red, which is going over pretty good. On the sweets, today we have cranberry, Three Crazy Ladies. He has a watermelon. It's not with us today, but it's selling off the charts. His business is taking off. Today we have a plum wine with us as well, and a new one that's out. It's called Diamond. It's a white wine.
Non-stop people coming in line, waiting for wine, and it's just it's great to be out here. The weather's nice, so I think that drew a lot of people in. So, as a winery, we offer a huge selection of wines that are farm to table, and we're located in Berwick, Pennsylvania.
So next year, make sure you get to it. We support it every year. And I believe there's already a date set. I could be wrong, but I believe it's August 29th, 2020. We'll see you there.
2020.
How about that? Yeah, 2020. The future. We don't have flying cars yet, though.
I know. And trips to the moon. When I was in grade school, everybody was like, by the year 2000, you'll go to the weekend to a moon. I've never been to the moon. How about you?
I'd like to go to the moon.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Some people say I'm over the moon sometimes. All right, let's get back to drinking.
All right.
What do we got in front of us? Let's talk about what we have here again.
Okay.
It's a huge slew of beers.
It's a slew of stuff that all came in recently.
And all stuff is new to you.
And it's all stuff new to me that I haven't tried before. Like I said, I've been behind a little on my drinking. Now that we're getting to a little bit warmer, I'll be home more. So
yeah. A little behind your drinking because every time we take a break when we end the season, Alan stops drinking.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. So, got to do something.
So let's start with the first one over here. What do we got?
This is a Maisel Dunkelweizen, which is a great style. It's a wheat beer, which is the German Weizen.
Okay.
But Dunkel basically gives it its dark black appearance.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because it doesn't look like a wheat beer.
No, it doesn't. And it's a great beer to start out with for the first time if you're just getting to the microbrews because there's no bitterness whatsoever in this.
No. Oh, it's really smooth. There's a lot of malt to it.
A lot of malt. Believe it or not, I'm getting a little bit of like sweetness, almost like, I want to say like banana and clove, a little coriander.
Yeah. I got to look at this label a little bit better.
It's very nice. It's just, it's such an easy drinking beer. I mean, you can even drink this on the beach at 90 degrees on a hot day. That's how smooth it is.
Dunkel's Hefeweiss beer. So we got a bunch of names on this label.
Well, the Dunkel is just the German dark, and Hefeweizen really is just wheat beer. I don't really quite know what the difference between a Hefeweizen and a Weizen.
Well, the side of it says dark wheat beer, and that's exactly what it is. It's a darker. I see. It seems to me like there's more to it than like a normal wheat beer. A little bit more to it.
Just that little Dunkel in it just kind of like helps put more stuff in the mash. So therefore, it comes out and it's a little bit fuller on the tongue. But there is no bitterness whatsoever. Great beer to start out with.
I'll tell you what, we're off to a great start because that beer was really good. I like it.
Yeah.
And it's warm out today too, so it kind of feels like I should be drinking something like that.
Absolutely, nice easy one. You can polish off 2 or 3 of those without a problem.
Okay, next up we got.
Next is the new one from Trogs, which is always nice when they come out with something completely new.
Thank you, Trogs.
This is the Trial by Day Dry Hopped Pale Ale, coming in at 5.5% alcohol. So now we'll see if they respect the style. I mean, great citrus tones to it.
Not respecting the style. This is an IPA. Not that it's bad.
No, but you're not. It definitely is a higher end, but you're not getting whacked with the hops either.
No, you're not.
This would I would call this like an all-day IPA, as opposed to like an IPA.
Yeah, this is more of a session than anything.
Yeah, because really, session IPAs and all-day IPAs are nothing more than pale ales in the American market weren't selling well. So I think they just renamed them session IPAs and all-day IPAs because hopheads like yourself see IPA and you instantly want to drink it.
I do instantly want to drink more of that because that's really good.
It is really good. It is really good.
It's more hoppy. It's more hazier.
It's more hoppy, more hazy than
than your normal pale ale.
Normal pale ale, yeah.
So, going by what you said before, I would say it's not really respecting the style of a pale ale, but it's still a good beer.
Yeah.
It's not all the way. It's not crazy IPA.
No, it's not like a double
dry hop. Shave your tongue. It's so dry. It's nothing like that.
No. But great citrus tones.
Yeah.
I mean, you really get that, especially in the nose.
In our sip.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great great nose on it.
Yeah. And if you're a Trogs fan, this one, hurry up, get out, because it might even be gone by the time this airs.
Oh.
It's kind of really one of their one and dones. It's not even a seasonal. They just
Oh, so this is very limited release stuff.
limited release. They've just kind of thrown it into the market. I don't know the reason behind it, but we're always grateful to get anything we can from Trogs.
That's right. All right, next up. What we got?
Next is our good old friend from Carvel Ice Cream, Fudgy the Whale.
Oh, I remember Fudgy the Whale and Cookie Puss.
Fudgy the Whale beer, in collaboration with Carvel.
Wow, going back to my childhood.
Yep.
Wasn't there a Carvel store up the street here?
There was
in
one on
Hazleton?
Broad Street in Hazleton, yeah.
That's right. Fudgy the Whale and Cookie Puss.
It's amazing that a business used to be able to be just the Carvel store.
Yeah, it has a nice sweetness to it, like
But not overly where you're like,
a milky mouthfeel, I'll call
Yeah.
it. It's good. I can't drink that all night, but it's good.
yeah. I don't know if I'd call it ice cream beer though.
No, but enough.
Yeah, it's just dark, roasty, and fudgy. Yeah, we'll give them that. I think
We'll give it a
that
dark
works
roast
well.
fudge. Sure. Fudgy the Whale, and who makes this?
This is Captain Lawrence.
Okay. I like Fudgy the Whale. It's good.
Yeah,
Good.
next one is the Foolproof Vanilla Espresso Rain Cloud.
Oh boy, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, I don't know why it makes it a rain cloud or not.
So you said this is espresso?
Yep.
And it's not much. I'm not getting a lot off the nose here.
No. It's a lot heavier than I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's it's a thicker mouthfeel than I was expecting.
Yeah, and definitely coffee,
Yeah, there's a
sledgehammer
lot.
coffee.
Yeah, there's a lot of coffee in there.
Yeah. So espresso is definitely the route on that.
So who makes this one?
This is Foolproof, which I haven't had, from out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island,
Oh, okay.
where I went up to college there. So I think we need a little palate cleanser after those.
Okay. So just gonna drink the IPA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always
We're
good
not
to
gonna
get.
cleanse our palate with water like you
Yes,
should.
because the next one is the French toast. So I didn't want to kind of leave any of the coffee residue in there. This is from Wicked Weed, Imperial Stout with cinnamon, vanilla, and maple syrup.
Now, we've had some Wicked Weed stuff before. It's
Yeah.
a really good brewery. They're usually really good at making stuff like this.
Yeah, it smells like French toast.
Wow. Yeah, this is.
I mean, insanely like French toast.
you can smell it right from here. Don't even have to stick it to your nose. You can.
Wow.
There's a lot of nose to this.
Yeah.
Tastes like French toast. Tastes like you put French toast in a blender, added some
Yeah, a
alcohol to it.
Yeah, a little cinnamony. I don't really get any vanilla out of it, but definitely a little sweet, right?
Yeah.
Some maple.
Yeah, there's like maple syrup kind of taste to it. It's pretty good. Again, this one will be one and done for me.
This
But-
is a sharing beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody will have fun while we're drinking maple toast. Do you want any more? No, I'm good.
It's interesting though. I would probably, one and done for me. But good beer. Interesting if you want to drink French toast.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, finally, the one I'm really looking forward to is it's not even a beer.
No.
It's a hard latte.
Yeah, hard latte. And as I said, they even put chocolate on the bottom, so you have to swirl it around, before you pour it, and that way you get all the chocolate flavors. What's nice is they didn't make a beer to try and taste like a latte. They actually made a latte from the looks of it
And add some alcohol.
and the
to it.
smell of it, and it's 5% alcohol, so it's just like drinking a Bud Miller Coors.
Now, this stuff, smells like it's supposed to. It smells like a latte.
Wow. That tastes exactly like a Starbucks
Oh
latte.
my God. Whoa. This
I mean,
is
it's actually incredible for what it is. It really is.
Yeah, this is dangerous because there's no alcohol taste to this at all. This is just pretty much.
It's a chocolate milkshake, is what it really is.
It's delicious.
Wow.
You can even see some of the chocolate on the bottom.
Yeah, just kind of,
Yeah. Excellent.
That
Wow.
yeah, that's really interesting.
See, I can see why these things are getting popular. Mm-hmm. And they are, right? Like,
Yeah.
These lattes, these different malt beverages other than beer, they're becoming more and more popular, aren't they?
Yeah, because if you're not a beer person, the seltzer waters, they started that, last year.
Yeah.
The lattes, there's like mocha, there's plain latte, there's chai latte. So they're really getting into, different styles as well. But that's
Show idea.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's so impressive it's gone.
Yeah, my hats are off to them.
Excellent. Really excellent.
I hate to think how many calories are in that.
Oh, I don't care anymore. When I shoot the show, I don't count. I can't.
17,483 calories.
Well, on that note, we'll be right back with more Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Don't go away. We're coming back in a couple minutes. On Wine, Hops, and Road Stops, we throw a lot of terminology at you. So this segment right now, Craft Beer 101, it's going to get you a little bit more used to the terminology we use. And today, we're going to talk about farmhouse ales.
A farmhouse ale, at its core, is the original homebrew beer.
I like that.
So farmers would brew beer on basically what they grew.
Right.
Usually starts with grain, right? But then they're going to add whatever they feel like adding, exactly like a home brewer does today.
Okay.
But the biggest difference is that they didn't have specialized yeast. One of the things you may not realize is that every breath you've ever taken in your entire life has been a soup of yeast and all kinds of other biologicals.
All kinds.
So they're completely harmless to us, but when it comes down to beer, you'll hear terms like wild ale or open fermentation or things like that. And really, open fermentation is exactly what it sounds like. They put all of the ingredients in the beer, right? Your malts, your hops, whatever else you're putting in there, all your fermentables, and you're exposing it to the air. In the beginning, they had no idea what yeast was. What is it? Benjamin Franklin said, "Beer is proof that God loves us," right? And that was their explanation for where fermentation came from.
There you go.
So the beer was completely unpredictable, and even to this day, the farmhouse style is reflective of that. The farmhouse style is all over the place. You'll hear a lot of words like bright, rustic, funky, right? The funky is the word that really strikes home most because there's a component in the background that is reminiscent of hay and earthy tones and things like that. And that's really what you're aiming for with a saison or with a farmhouse ale. Actually, with a farmhouse ale.
Right.
Now, a saison is a sort of a branch of a farmhouse.
It's part of farmhouse ale family.
Farmhouse ale family.
Okay.
And even to a lesser extent, wild ales, sours, have kind of become a descendant of that. So from Free Will, we got a farmhouse ale here, and this is going to tell us, this one here has cranberries in it. It's aged in oak barrels. So already you know that this is going to be weird. And on the side of it tells you it's got cranberries, Brettanomyces, Lactobacillus, and Pediococcus. These are just different bacteria, right? So these are the normal airborne bacteria that add your acids and your different sort of flavors. Sir Pesh from Trogs.
Sure.
This is a wild Pennsylvania ale brewed with peaches.
Peaches.
So, but the wild ale right there is going to tell you that it's wild yeast.
It's going to have more of an earthy taste to it, a little bit of a different finish.
Probably a little bit more sour too. They add fruit to it to mask some of the worst parts of the the farmhouse funk, but that's what you're signing up for when you get it.
The farmhouse ale is historically what the farmers had available.
Yep.
They open up the barrel, they let the yeast come in from just outside, and basically the saison style is going to
be a little more refined, a little bit more refined than a farmhouse ale.
Okay.
But the flavor profiles are unique, and I think you should try it. You want to be if you're a craft beer fan, you should at least give yourself a shot at a farmhouse ale and a saison ale, just so you know what it's like. Call it a history lesson.
That's all the time we have on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do here, facebook.com/wine, hops, and road stops. That's our Facebook page. Communicate with us, please. Tell us what you want to see on the show, what you want to talk about. We had a lot of great beers today. A lot of great new beers that we tried out. And again, that latte has me, oh my God, you couldn't even taste the alcohol in it, which could be dangerous, but that was good. And so let's talk a little bit about what you got new coming out. It's all about pumpkin beers, and it's all about Oktoberfest beers.
Absolutely. We did last year the Oktoberfest Challenge and the Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Went head to head and was just as good as the Germans. So if you can't pick up a German one, the Sigmar Oktoberfest is good. But every week, you're getting 5, 6, new pumpkin beers in, it seems like every other day. And we probably have 40 or 50 of them right now.
Now, before we go, I do have to mention, really quickly, a German court just ruled, I read this morning, that a hangover could be considered an illness. I don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on us here in America, but I'm going to have to agree, because sometimes, when you're hungover.
So we're going to get
feel
support
sick.
groups now for hangovers?
Yes.
Isn't that a bar?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I do get a hangover, and I try not to, because I do drink a lot of water when I drink my beer. But when I do get a hangover, because I'm old, I get a hangover for days anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out for like 3-4 days.
I can't recover from those either.
So, drink a lot of water when you drink your beer. And of course, life's too short to have bad beer, so get a good beer, get it from the beer stop. We'll see you next time on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Salute.
That was exceptional.
Yeah, it was.
And so was the latte. That's
Yes, it was.
that is surprising because I don't drink lattes.
Neither do I.
Or coffee in general.
I drink a lot of coffee,
but
but
I mean that's just
I
milkshakey.
can't be drinking that in the morning, though. I'll tell you that. Or I can. I shouldn't, though. That was good. Everything today was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, even the ones like these two in the middle, we kind of walked over a little bit. Not too much info on them.
Yeah.
They were good, but these were really good. I like the French toast one a lot.
French toast is impressive, especially with the nose on it.
Yeah.
That you can actually get a beer like that is just impressive with wheat, barley, and hops.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah. I mean, it's strong.